The General Hospital preview for the week of November 10th hints Drew Kane will find out Willow Tate has a new hero. Also coming up, Emma Scorpio and Gio Palmieri will go ahead with the raid on Henry Dalton's lab. Plus, someone will collapse. And Olivia Falconeri will be distraught. GH spoilers tease Gio will tell Emma it's their last chance to get the dirt on Dalton. And Charlotte Cassadine, Rocco Falconeri, and Danny Morgan will stand in front of the lab's entrance. Then they'll scan the key fob to gain entry. "Oh my God," Charlotte says in the GH sneak peek. But what kind of horror awaits them inside the professor's lab? And will they get caught breaking in? At Bobby's, someone will pass out. In the preview, a man's hand, wearing a wedding ring, is shown sliding off a chair. Later, Lulu Spencer will comfort a devastated Olivia at the hospital. So, it seems like it will be Ned Quartermain who falls and suffers a medical emergency. Other GH spoilers tease Laura Collins will receive some disturbing news. Plus, Stella Henry will be taken aback by something she learns. Finally, Drew considers himself to be Willow's savior. However, he's about to find out the woman he's obsessed with has a new protector, Harrison Chase. The GH Weekly preview shows Chase sitting beside Willow in the visitors area at Pentonville, and he's holding her hand. "Chase has been in to see her 3 times since she's been denied bail," Dante says in a voiceover. But is he telling Drew or Chase's wife, Brooklyn Quartermain? And will Drew walk into the prison and see Willow and Chase holding hands? At any rate, it looks like a great week is coming up. Keep reading The Soap Scoop for more General Hospital spoilers and news. And make sure you join our free GH Facebook group. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. General Hospital spoilers update for Monday, November 10th reveals that Michael Corinthos will predict Willow Corinthos' conviction, while Harrison Chase spells out a risky plan. Portia Robinson will also confess, so let's talk about what's ahead in Port Charles. At GH, Felicia Scorpio will corner Portia and go fishing for info about the night of Drew Kane's shooting. Isaiah Gannon will be present for this conversation and may encourage Portia to confess she was with him. Isaiah will also speak with Portia privately and wonder if they should go talk to the cops. But she may shut down that idea. Portia still hasn't told Curtis Ashford that there's another father option when it comes to the baby she's carrying, so she won't want to spread the word that she was with Isaiah that night. Will Portia finally admit her pregnancy to Isaiah, since he's going to find out anyway soon enough? Isaiah is a smart guy and will be able to do the math, so Portia is really only delaying the inevitable here. Whatever the case, Portia will indeed confess something on Monday, so we'll see if that involves an admission to Felicia, Isaiah, or both. In the meantime, Chase will set a risky plan in motion, so that could be why Brooklyn Quartermain will get some unsettling updates. Brooklyn will have some disturbing news to share with Dante Falconeri later, so she'll swear him to secrecy and deliver a shocker. It sounds like Brooklyn may be concerned about Chase's obsession with Willow's freedom. Chase may have big plans for Michael's downfall, so Brooklyn will sound the alarm to Dante and leave him with concerns of his own. At Sonny Corinthos' house, he'll talk to Michael about Willow's upcoming trial. Michael will predict that Willow could be convicted by Christmas, but Sonny will hint that another suspect might come to light. After Michael asks who Sonny's alluding to, Sonny may admit he encouraged Alexis Davis to point the finger at Portia. Michael may not agree with this defense strategy since it affects Curtis' family, but Sonny will stand his ground. As for Nina Reeves, she'll get what she assumes is a nice surprise. Jacinda Bracken might make Nina believe she's going to side with her and ensure that Michael's alibi falls through. Nina will speak with Drew and talk about Michael getting rid of someone for them, so she may assume Michael will deal with Jacinda when she doesn't cooperate. However, Jacinda seems pretty loyal to Michael now, so they'll continue to push their fake romance around town. There's a good chance that Michael and Jacinda will genuinely fall for each other as this storyline heats up. Until then, Alexis Davis will stop by Pentonville and share some info that could help Willow's case. Willow might find out Alexis is considering throwing blame at Portia and adding another suspect to the mix in court. Finally, Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake will agree the mayoral debate will keep everyone busy and offer the right time to strike. If Charlotte Cassadine comes through on stealing the key fob, Emma and Gio will have what they need to sneak in the lab. General Hospital spoilers say Gio and Emma are on the verge of making some wild discoveries, so stay tuned. On Friday's all-new episode of General Hospital, Lucas Jones and Marco Rios took a gigantic next step in their whirlwind romance. After Ava gave Lucas the boot, Marco's offer to move in together went from future potential to present reality. However, now that Lucas and Marco have agreed to cohabitate, the doctor's life is in far more danger than he could possibly imagine. The WSG is running a secret op to take down Marco's father, Sidwell, and not only is Jocelyn looking to gain access through Lucas, but a familiar face from the Five Poppies is back in the mix. Pascal, the man calling the shots at the suspicious resort, poses as Sidwell's butler and has been tasked with keeping a watchful eye on Lucas. Once fans witnessed Lucas agree to move in with his unsavory boyfriend, it wasn't long before they took to social media to express their dissatisfaction with the storyline's direction. From fans pointing out the parallels between Marco and Brad or viewers' distaste for Jocelyn's involvement in the plot, they haven't shied away from giving their unadulterated opinions. Screw Lucas, he cannot live with Carly because of Sonny, but no problem living with Sidwell. He knows what Sidwell has done. The writers think we are stupid. Stop this nonsense, one fed-up viewer commented. Good thing the queue's made up. Apparently, there is a serious housing shortage in PC. Lucas was living with Carly, then Ava, and now moving in with Marco. A doctor should be able to have their own apartment, another fan shared on X. Don't care, boring. Lucas threw Brad away. Now he wants to cohabit with a lawyer criminal. Good luck with that, an X user wrote. Lucas is not too bright. At least writers are writing his storyline that way. I prefer the old Lucas. He hasn't learned a thing from being in marriage with Brad, another fan explained. Two grown-ass men with professional, well-paying jobs should be able to afford renting an apartment or house together without them having to move in with Dad in the creepy old mansion. General Hospital NGH, one viewer noted. This is so plot-driven, it's ridiculous. Did we see this progression in their relationship, or did the writers need some quick plot points to get Lucas living at Windermere, so there's some logical reason for WSB Joss to be there? I think we know, a discouraged fan wrote. We barely see Lucas and Marco, but now, out of nowhere, Marco wants Lucas to move to Windermere. Ha, GH, one fan tweeted. Just a random thought. Lucas won't stay with Carly because of her connection is Sonny, but he will move into Windermere and live with Marco and Sidwell, who is a mobster. What's the difference? GH, another viewer questioned. So Britt is basically going to have to save Lucas's life. Oh, Lucas, you have a problem with Sonny, but are willingly moving in with Marco and his international criminal father, Sidwell, who would kill you in 2 seconds flat, a fan commented. Marco is lying to Lucas just as easily as Brad did, and to top it off, Marco is all in with his father's business. My heart breaks for Lucas, a disheartened viewer shared. And I cannot wait for Lucas to find out his oh-so-perfect Marco is far, far worse than Brad ever was. I'm so disappointed. Was hoping Marco would be a version of Alexis against Family Ties, one fan wrote. Now that Lucas and Marco have taken the plunge and moved into Windermere, the future looks anything but bright for the lovebirds. Marco is deeply immersed in his father's crime network, including ties to Faison's final project, and that screams danger for Carly's brother. While Jocelyn seeks a way to fulfill the WSB's bidding, she remains quite inexperienced in the field, and a myriad of things could go wrong. All it takes is one wrong move from the fledgling spy, and her uncle is a dead man. With Pascal lurking in the halls of Windermere, Jocelyn's cover could be blown at any moment, and a full-scale crime war could ensue. Love is a lovely thing, but for Lucas and Marco, it can be a beautiful yet dangerous thing. Sidwell was crystal clear on Friday's episode that if Lucas becomes too much of a liability, he is to be eliminated. It's unclear how Marco would react if Lucas came to harm, but it could lead to a defection against his father's regime. However, despite Lucas having negative feelings towards Sonny at the moment, if he were injured or killed, Sonny would launch a massive counterattack against Sidwell and his organization. Regardless of Sonny and Carly's strained relationship at times, he most likely wouldn't sit idly by as her brother falls victim to a fellow apex predator of crime. The writing's on the wall for Lucas and Marco's relationship to be doomed before it truly begins, and if he thought his marriage to Brad was full of secrets, lies, and danger, he hasn't seen anything yet. Marco being anywhere near Faison's final project, and whatever that truly entails, is enough for Lucas to run for the hills. Moving in together is not only the ticket to potential fatality, but it's clear the viewers don't disagree, screaming to Lucas at the top of their lungs to escape while he still can. General Hospital spoilers for the next 3 weeks, November 10th to November 28th, reveal that Jason Morgan will threaten Pascal, while Professor Henry Hank Dalton has some bad timing. Sonny Corinthos also seems poised to ruin Ada Justine Turner's plan, so let's discuss what's ahead in Port Charles. The week of November 10th to 14th will bring Giovanni, Gio Palmieri, and Emma Scorpio Drake's wild discovery, so they should finally invade the lab and see for themselves what's inside. While Emma and Gio reel over what they find, Michael Corinthos will reach a big decision. After Michael makes a shocking move, it could affect Willow Tate's upcoming trial and leave her with questions. As the mayor race turns into a nightmare, Laura Collins might consider dropping out of the race and giving up her job. Since Laura's going to sacrifice something in the coming episodes, she might surrender to Gen Z Sidwell if it means protecting someone close to her. Sidwell made it clear that he intended on backing Laura into a corner, so he may pull that off soon enough. In the aftermath of the lab break-in, Britt will have some fires to put out. Jason Morgan may push for answers so he can help Britt deal with all the drama. Now that Pascal is in Port Charles, it's only a matter of time until he crosses paths with Britt and Jason. You can bet Jason will bark some threats at Pascal and warn that he'd better not put anyone Jason cares about in danger again. At some point, Dalton will have some bad timing, so he might be responsible for an interruption that's ahead for Jason and Britt. On the other hand, Dalton might make another mess instead and leave Sidwell upset over his blunder. Sidwell will have another heated confrontation with Britt before he ultimately tries to lure Ava Jerome further into his web of charm. As for Gio, he could face criminal consequences, especially if he goes the extra mile to cover for Emma. Dante's going to feel stuck between his professional duties and personal issues, so that may involve Gio's arrest. Over with Sonny, he'll tear down a few more of Justine's walls. Justine will get swept up in her attraction to Sonny, so her manipulative plan may take a back seat to her burning desires. During the week of November 17 to 21st, Jocelyn Jacks will have a hard time navigating her new mission. Jack Brennan expects Jocelyn to score intel on Marco Rios as well as Sidwell, but Joss will want to protect Lucas Jones in the process. It'll just be tough for Jocelyn to pull that off without committing treason. Jocelyn may also run into Pascal sooner or later and realize he's the new butler at Windermere. That could bring back some traumatic memories for Jocelyn and leave S. Vaughn on edge, too. Carly Spencer will inevitably keep a close eye on this situation while she continues plotting Brennan's destruction. Meanwhile, GH writers will have to offer up more puzzle pieces about what's really going on with Anna Devane, who obviously isn't just off on a special WSB mission. Someone kidnapped Anna instead, so there may be more hints about whether Cesar Faison is to blame, or just a Faison pretender. The week of November 24th to 28th could bring Valentine's escape plot once he's landed at a stateside prison. Valentine may be on the verge of a getaway scheme based on fall preview info, so that could be part of his vengeful plan with Carly. There's also a chance Valentine could get tangled up in some Anna rescue mayhem, so that's something to mull over. As Thanksgiving draws near, Nathan West may be invited to celebrate with James West and his family. Although Nathan and James will keep building a father-son bond, there must be a reason why Britt was initially so concerned about it happening. The secrets of Nathan's missing 7 years will have to be revealed sooner or later, but he could be putting James at risk by pulling him closer in the meantime. General Hospital spoilers say troubling news is still to come in Nathan's storyline, so stick with us for updates on all the unraveling mysteries. General Hospital spoilers for the week of November 10 to 14 reveal that the weekly preview video shows Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake invading Professor Henry Hank Dalton's lab, where things will go very wrong. Plus, Drew Kane takes note of Willow Tate's bond with Harrison Chase and may fly into a jealous rage. The ABC soap's preview was just released, so it's time to talk about all the drama set to hit Port Charles during the week of November 10th. The promo opens with a very distraught Willow at Pentoville as Chase comes for a visit. Willow is as white as a ghost as Chase takes her hands into his to comfort his friend. The camera does a close-up of Willow's hands, interlocked into Chase's, as a clip of Drew's horrified face flashes on the screen. Meanwhile, Dante Falconeri can be heard in the voiceover saying, "Chase has been to see her 3 times since she's been to Pentonville." It looks like Drew will realize Chase and Willow have a stronger bond than he believed they had, and he won't like it one bit. Still, how will he strike back at Chase? Fans will have to tune in to find out. As the GH preview video continues, a scene between Gio and Emma is shown at Bobby's. Gio tells his gal pal that he doesn't think they'll get a better shot at this than tonight. It sounds like the two will decide to sneak into Professor Dalton's lab, as the clip in the next sequence shows an entry card being scanned at a padlock and a green light pops up to indicate the doors have been unlocked. Gio can be heard saying, "This is our last chance," as a clip of Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri in a hallway is revealed. Then, Charlotte Cassadine is in front of the boys, inside somewhere unknown as she notes, "Oh my God!" After that, a mirage of clips flash across the screen, with the first one being a distraught Olivia Quartermain, on the verge of tears as Lulu Spencer tries to console her. Laura Collins is shown next, seeming at her election headquarters, with a shocked look on her face, and Stella Henry is spotlighted next, with a close-up, as she looks completely caught off guard. The final clip is of a man's hand, slipping off a chair, which seems to be at Bobby's. It's unknown who the man is, but it looks like he is fainting or collapsing for one reason or another. General Hospital spoilers suggest the week of November 10th to 14th will be an explosive one, as an emergency is slated to hit the little town, which is sure to bring on drama, chaos, and adventure. General Hospital star Paige Herschel has released a new song with her longtime romantic partner, Drew Cash. Herschel, who plays escort Jacinda Bracken on General Hospital, sings on a new tune with Cash that came out November 5th. The song is called Just Say I Love You and will be on a new album that Cash releases on November 21st. The song is available for download at this link, while you can pre-order the album at this link. On his Instagram, he says the album carries an overarching theme of rebirth through balance and emotional equilibrium, climbing out of an emotional deficit and starting with a clean slate. Cash said he wrote the song Just Say I Love You after the wildfires that ravaged Los Angeles in January. He wrote on Instagram, in part, maintaining joy is its own form of rebellion, and spreading love in the face of hatred is the only way to get through it. Just say I love you. Cash is an actor who has appeared on TV series such as Criminal Minds. He has recorded a lot of music and has posted videos of him singing with his love. He performs in shows around the country and has a show planned in Louisville on November 18th. According to an Instagram post Cash made last year, the couple met about 14 years ago while working in a touring production of the Shakespeare play Taming of the Shrew. When she's not on General Hospital, Herschel spends a lot of time in a swing jazz quartet called San Leon. On their website, they describe themselves as, "Our music style is a mix of early 20th century Parisian gypsy jazz and American jazz standards from the 1920s to 40s, as well as originals." They performed in Ventura, California on November 8th. Herschel has been making waves as Jacinda since debuting on General Hospital and turning her into a well-rounded character. Jacinda has made a deal with Michael Corinthos in which she is providing an alibi for him for the night of Drew's shooting. The characters have been pretending to be dating, and one day they may eventually slide into real romance. Recently, Jacinda had to decide whether to take a substantial bribe from Nina to drop the alibi for Willow's sake, or stay with Michael and his plan. Michael convinced her to stick with his plan, and Jacinda told him it was because Nina treats her like a commodity, and Michael treats her like a person. Herschel is a San Antonio native. In recent years, she has also appeared on major shows such as Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, The Paper, Billions, FBI, and The Orville. General Hospital spoilers suggest Ned Quartermaine may suffer from a medical emergency during the week of November 10th-14th. So does he become a part of a poisoned food scheme that goes wrong? The GH preview video just dropped, and there's an interesting scene at Bobby's where an unknown man's hand is shown gripping a chair as he seemingly loses balance and collapses. While the man in question is not shown, he is wearing a suit and does have a wedding band on. In addition, a clip is shown during the promo, where Olivia Quartermaine is emotional and distraught at the hospital, while Lulu Spencer is next to her, trying her best to support the woman. As the scene of the male collapsing is taking place at Bobby's, it's hard not to think that there will be some food tampering where the individual goes into shock. Ned doesn't have any enemies in the little town right now, so why would anyone want to hurt or poison him? Will he get caught in the crossfire of someone's vendetta of another? Time to speculate. Maxie Jones recently collapsed while on Home and Heart acting as a spokesperson for deception. The woman had a terrible reaction to tampered cream, and GH fans know that Gen Z's Sidwell was behind it all. Maxie fell into a coma and is at a treatment center off-screen, so could Sidwell decide to tamper with someone's food in hopes that he can get them out of the way, too? The Port Charles's mayoral election is nearing, so could Sidwell's target be Laura Collins, but the food somehow ends up with Ned? After all, Ned was the one who showed mercy on Martin Gray, opting for him not to be sent to jail after the fake will secret came out. Laura and Ned could meet up at Bobby's, so she thanked him for his grace, only for their food to get switched, and Ned to collapse. Then again, Ned's also Harrison Chase's father-in-law. As Drew Kane is slated to notice the growing bond between Chase and Willow Tate, perhaps he tampers with Chase's food to get him out of the way, only for the cop to give his meal to Ned. Then again, it's always possible that Ned's collapse at Bobby's is a freak allergic one, or maybe Ned isn't the person who faints. Another married man is General Hospital. Spoilers note, it's going to be a crazy week in the land of Port Charles, so fans need to tune into the ABC soap to see who's going down. Secrets explode, shocking discoveries surface, and panic spreads across Port Charles in Tuesday's episode of General Hospital. There is a lot to unpack when looking at the General Hospital spoilers for the episode airing on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. Expect horrifying discoveries, unexpected moves, unsettling vibes, and sheer panic. This is going to be an emotional week for Brooklyn. On Monday, she receives jarring news, which triggers her need for answers on Tuesday. This will also require her to ultimately turn to Chase for support on Wednesday, according to the weekly spoilers. But will Brooklyn end up getting 100% of her husband's focus? Recently, he has been offering a tremendous amount of support to Willow. And in GH's weekly video preview, that might come to a head sooner rather than later, when Dante brings up just how much attention Chase has been focusing on his ex. Willow's ex-husband causes drama when he makes an unexpected move. Ever since his return, Michael has been unpredictable and has become somewhat of a wild card. He is doing what he can to make sure that he doesn't get pinned for Drew's shooting, which is what Drew desperately wants, whether it's the truth or not. So what move does Michael make? And will it be clever enough to keep the cops from turning their attention to him? The mayoral debate is Gio and Emma's best chance to rally their fellow teens and go after Dalton. While Port Charles's adults will be distracted by what's sure to be political chaos, the kids will do whatever they can to find out what's behind the lab door. Gio and Emma are set to make a horrifying discovery. Is this about animal testing or something else that can be classified as horrifying? While Elizabeth feels unsettled, Britt is in panic mode. Perhaps Britt realizes somebody or someone has found out about the lab experiments. There's also a chance she could run into Pascal, who has popped up in Port Charles and is working for Sidwell at Windermere. And as we know, Britt and Pascal aren't exactly friends. Britt knows that if anything goes wrong, she will have to answer to some very bad people. And that kind of pressure is tough to handle. Is that what's going on here? Finally, look for a chat to happen between Lulu and Olivia. While we sincerely hope Lulu gets a dig in about how Olivia and the Quartermaines temporarily turned their backs on Tracy, we know that won't be the actual topic of their conversation. Lulu is supposed to open up to Olivia, so maybe this is about Lulu's son and Olivia's grandson, Rocco. General Hospital spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for Monday, November 10th, 2025. It shows Alexis Davis sharing good news with Willow Tate. Portia Robinson makes a confession to Isaiah Gannon. Plus, Giovanni Giopalmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake strategize. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the ABC soap opera. Let's start off with Brooklyn Quartermain, who makes a shocking discovery. In the preview clip, she ambushes Dante Falconeri and begs him to keep a secret. Could this be about Harrison Chase being blinded by Willow's good girl persona? Over at the hospital, Portia makes a confession to Isaiah. However, it won't be that she is pregnant, and that he could be one potential father. Read this. Check out what happened on last episode of GH. The doctor will admit that he is her alibi on the night of the shooting. Of course, Portia doesn't want to use Isaiah as her alibi because it would also expose her paternity dilemma. At this point, Portia isn't ready to explain things until she knows if Isaiah or Curtis Ashford is the father. Now, Isaiah suggests Portia clear things up by talking to the police. However, Portia could land in hot water that way too. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, November 10th reveal that Gio and Emma will strategize. The preview clip shows Gio explaining that there is no better opportunity than tonight. Charlotte Cassadine is on the plan too. However, will the plan be successful or will there be a curveball? Alexis will pay a visit to Willow at Pentonville. The lawyer shares some potentially good news. At first, Willow's head hangs down, so she must learn something disappointing. However, the good news could be just enough to give Willow some hope. Read this. General Hospital spoilers. A shocking leak claims a family funeral lies ahead for the Ashford clan. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves has a heated debate with Drew Kane. Nina says that they don't have to get rid of Jacinda Breckel, as Michael will do it for them. Also, Michael meets with Sonny Corinthos. The preview clip for the next episode shows the mob boss ordering his son to end this, now. However, Michael might not be able to do that. It seems that Michael has put his trust in Jacinda. But is that really a smart move? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on ABC to find out what happens next. General Hospital spoilers report Britt Westbourne's ties to shady figures like Jen Sidwell and Professor Henry Hank Dalton are coming to light. When Jason Morgan rescued Britt from the Five Poppies Hotel in Croatia, he had no idea what he was walking into. Further, we had no idea she didn't plan to clue him in. In the past, Britt was far more open with Jason, but he broke her heart in the end, and she had to grieve losing him twice. Once to Carly Spencer, and once in death. Now, Britt is remaining pretty tight-lipped about her involvement with these guys, and whether the medication stemming her symptoms is the only reason she's doing it. Could there be more at play? And could it be something even Britt isn't aware of? Back in spring of 2021, love was in bloom between Britt and Jason, and the fans were really here for it. After the love he lost with Sam McCall, and the love that never really got to come into fruition with Carly, we were ready to see Jason get sappy again. Their future was initially cut short by Britt's diagnosis of Huntington's disease when they were on the run together in Canada. Hopping around from safe house to safe house, she confided in him that she believed she was exhibiting early symptoms of the disease that maimed her father's life. For years, we've wondered whether that would turn out to be true. Could someone have been poisoning her? Could she have been misdiagnosed? Could the lab results have been falsified? It's unlikely that Britt's diagnosis wasn't accurate, given that they were fugitives at the time. If anyone knew where they were, they likely would have dropped a clue to the cops. Further, she decided to get the test spontaneously in another country. The odds that anyone could orchestrate the faked lab test isn't the heavy lift here. But anyone knowing she was even going to test for it was highly unlikely. Even though Britt has Huntington's, that hasn't really come to light much at this juncture. She told Liesl Obrecht she faked her death, knowing that she would eventually perish anyway. As far as everyone is concerned, she still has this awful disease that will eventually claim her life. No one understands how she didn't die in her mother's arms, nor how she combated the snake venom from Heather Weber's poisoned hook. She's keeping these details close to her vest right now, and it may be because it'll only make her look worse, or it could be because it'll cost her the meds Sidwell is supplying that are keeping her symptoms and progression of the disease at bay. This has been a hard sell for fans, though, especially many who have been personally affected by Huntington's or know someone who is. Some fans think the fantasy of this miracle drug is disrespectful to real sufferers. While that probably won't cost GH too many viewers, Britt's secrets could cost her the people she holds most dear. Is Sidwell's miracle drug actually keeping Britt's symptoms at bay, or is he drugging her for another reason? Could he be causing symptoms, or causing some sort of withdrawal with these drugs? It's not likely, despite some fans praying that's the case, and that we won't lose Britt again. The reality is, Britt could investigate those drugs anytime under one of her many microscopes, and she would also be able to ascertain when symptoms occur in conjunction with when she self-injects the meds. So, suffice it to say, most signs point to her truly being sick. But if there is a miracle drug, will she have some shot at maintaining long-term access to it without staying under Sidwell's thumb forever? And why is Martin not under arrest? Erica Slezak's short stint as General Hospital's Ronnie is ending with Martin admitting he faked Monica's will, leaving her sister the house Alan bought for her, and that Ronnie was in on it. You'd think the Quartermain family would be furious with Ronnie for the lies, but instead, they reserved their anger for Tracy. Martin forged Monica's will. Why isn't he under arrest and facing disbarment charges? We don't know. All he got was a frowny face from Laura and a door slammed in his face. Seems like getting off easy. After Ronnie admitted her part in the scam, Tracy wanted her gone from the house, too. Except Tracy's family wasn't feeling it. Ned, Brooklyn, Olivia, they all joined forces to tell Tracy that she was being a big old meanie pants to poor Ronnie. She should at least let her spend the night at the mansion before she heads off on her way. After all, Ronnie is family. They've known her for minutes, days, a few weeks at the very least. How can Tracy eject a woman who lied to all of them and nearly stole their family home? She said she was sorry for Pete's sake. What else does Tracy need? A pint of flesh? She is so petty. Newly discovered great-grandson Gio talked Tracy into letting bygones be bygones. Tracy is so desperate for a relationship with the young man whom she was nothing but kind to, but who forgot all that and decided she was only being nice to him because he was family, before she knew he was family, that she went ahead and did as he cajoled. This means accepting that she is the bad guy in this scenario, when, from our perspective, she's the victim. The real danger may already be standing in plain sight, wearing Nathan West's face. There's been a quiet murmur around Nathan since he returned from the dead on General Hospital. Not the warm, familiar kind you get when a character is resurrected, but the uneasy flicker you feel when something is just off. A hesitation in his eyes, a delay in his reactions. Britt clocked it first, her expression tightening before she even formed a word. And tucked underneath all of that is Anna's disappearance and Britt's own return. Put all of that together, and the show might be planting the earliest threads of a father and son nightmare, with Nathan, unknowingly or not, stepping into a chilling new legacy. Nathan was always one of GH's straightest lines. Decent, grounded, a man who didn't need theatrics to make his point. But this version of him feels hollow in places, like someone pressed reset and hoped for the best. It's the way he periodically throws mysterious, almost knowing glances. Britt's reaction to his return wasn't one of surprise. There's a specific kind of tension that only shows up when someone recognizes a familiar face behaving in ways that don't match the memories attached to it. The audience immediately recognized it as a sense memory of Faison's unpredictability, that controlled chaos that lived in the air whenever he was near, which makes the timing of Anna's kidnapping feel less like a coincidence and more like the first move on an old chessboard no one wanted to unpack again. If someone implanted fragments of Faison's memories, even echoes of them, into whatever brought Nathan back, then the man standing in front of Bobby's might be carrying instincts that didn't die with his father. GH has never been shy about identity twists, Masks, brainwashing, swapped lives, cryonics, you name it. But this would be something quieter, more insidious. A son unknowingly haunted by a father whose presence lingered long past the grave. It wouldn't be Nathan acting out of malice. It would be Nathan acting out of programming. A ghost in the wiring of his own mind. And if that's true, then Anna's abduction becomes the opening note of a story that could ripple through every corner of the canvas. Jack, Jocelyn, Vaughn, even Laura and Sonny, all of them leaning toward the wrong conclusions because the villain they're looking for may already be standing in the same rooms they are, wearing the face of someone they once trusted. That's the part that gets under your skin, the possibility that Faison didn't need a resurrection. He just needed a vessel. And GH might be telling us, quietly, deliberately, that the scariest legacy isn't the one passed down through blood. It's the one smuggled in through memory. General Hospital spoilers indicate that Snoopy Emma Scorpio Drake and Giovanni Gio Palmieri finally break into Henry Hank Dalton's mysterious college campus lab. When Gio and Emma set their eyes on what's in there, they will be shocked to their core. This revelation has been months in the making. Will it spell doom or triumph for the do-gooders? For eons, these two have tried to no avail to access the lab. Until now, their plan to steal Britt Westbourne's key fob to the lab is picking up steam, with Charlotte Cassadine the latest to pitch in to help. Somehow, we suspect that Charlotte, and maybe even her brother, Rocco Falconeri, will successfully lift the fob from Britt. Gio was bummed he wasn't able to steal the fob, and he might continue to try and do so, with or without Charlotte's help. Either way, the fob lands in Emma and Gio's possession. The idea is to use the mayoral debate as a distraction, allowing Gio and Emma to access the lab. On November 11th, Emma and Gio are not prepared for what they find. Gio and Emma think that Dalton is conducting illegal animal testing. Fans know it is even worse than that. What will Emma and Gio discover when they enter the lab? Britt panics during this episode and races to the lab. She may even ask for Jason Morgan's help. It's that devastating. Then, on November 12th, something happens with Dalton, and it may be too late to save him. Soapy General Hospital spoilers hint that there are some wild twists and turns ahead, as the lab becomes the center of activity, even as the mayoral election winds on. Tell us, GH fans, what do you think is really going on in the legendary lab of Professor Dalton? Will it be worth the wait and build up? General Hospital spoilers and updates for the week of November 10th tease a too frequent visitor, a horrifying discovery, and a sacrifice as an emergency rocks Port Charles. Willow Tate gets a too frequent visitor. Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake make a horrifying discovery, and Laura Collins a sacrifice. Willow's too frequent visitor. Gio and Emma's terrifying discovery. Laura's heart-wrenching sacrifice. Dante Falconeri's voice is heard telling someone, likely Brooklyn Quartermain, about Harrison Chase's prison visits. It sounds like Chase is going just a tad overboard with his visits. Dante says he's been in to see Willow 3 times since she was denied bail, and that's only about a week. Drew Kane's face is also shown as a flash across the screen. Surely he can't be happy with Willow's ex being in to see her this often either. Might that be the jarring news that Brooke Lynn receives in Monday's episode? Gio and Emma are talking about their plot to break into Professor Henry Dalton's lab, and he tells her they're not going to get a better shot at this than tonight. The mayoral debate is taking place at Port Charles University, so there will be plenty of distraction away from the lab. It's implied that Gio and Emma head over, with Rocco Falconeri, Danny Morgan, and Charlotte Cassadine also shown there. Apparently, someone has been successful at getting Britt Westbourne's key fob as an electronic lock with bright lit circle is shown. What horrifying discovery might they make, as Charlotte is clearly heard saying, "Oh my God?" Also, an emergency rocks Port Charles this week. Might this be related to what the kids found in the lab? Has something or someone escaped? Olivia Quartermain is shown at the General Hospital emergency room in a panic and sobbing as Lulu Spencer stands by her, trying to comfort her. Dante's work will hit close to home. Is he involved in what's upset his mother so badly? Does he find a victim, or is he the victim? The shocked face of Stella Henry. Vernee Watson also flashes across the screen, right after Laura's, who's shocked as she's shown in a crowd, and she'll make a sacrifice. Lastly, a man's hand with a wedding ring, wearing a black suit over a black shirt, hangs onto a chair and collapses. Who might that be? General Hospital spoilers for Novi 10-14, 2025. Find Carly Corinthos Spencer's plotting and Anna Devane's attack. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week, then dive into what's ahead for next week. So, on Wednesday, November 5th, we've got Nathan West talking to Damian Spinelli and Felicia Scorpio, and he asks if they're hinting that he should not enforce his custody rights for James West. It looks like Nathan may agree that it's best he doesn't take James out of the only home he knows and away from his siblings because Spinelli and Felicia are relieved. According to GH Spoilers, Sonny Corinthos has a private moment with acting DA Justine Turner. They're at the axe-throwing place, and Sonny may put Portia Robinson on Justine's radar, but he's also flirting with her. Sonny tells Justine if she doesn't feel safe around him, she can go. But she won't because she's plotting against Sonny, but he's plotting against her. Will Justine fall for the dimples? Alexis Davis is there for Danny Morgan. They are dealing with the one-year anniversary of his mom, Sam McCall's death. Alexis wanted Scout Kane to be with all of them, but Drew Kane Quartermain really doesn't want Danny around. He's telling Alexis that he let his mom Sam down, and I think that's about his separation from Scout. Of course, Alexis is going to tell Danny it's not true, but this may be about his behavior that is keeping him banned. Anna tells Jason Morgan she needs to know if Cesar Faison is still alive, and says she has to be the one to finish him. Anna lands in a dangerous situation after that. She is chloroformed in her car this week, so she's attacked. Looks like she might be kidnapped. It could be Faison if he is alive, or somebody who works for him. Honestly, it could be the WSB. It could be Gen Z Sidwell. There are lots of options. Gio Palmieri tries to reason with Tracy Quartermain, maybe trying to talk her into letting Ronnie Bard and everybody come back home. I'm sure she's going to dig in her heels. Tracy tells Gio there's been a reversal of fortune and reveals that Monica Quartermain left her the house. But I wonder if she's going to tell him everybody sided with the traitor. Gio actually likes Ronnie as well, so we'll see if he sides with the others. Thursday, November 6th, we've got a familiar face back in Port Charles. Maybe it's Faison, or maybe it's Peter August, because maybe one of them kidnapped Anna. But my personal top guess is Valentin Cassadine, because it looks like he has been transferred away from Steinmauer and into a United States WSB prison, maybe even locally there in Port Charles. Felicia Scorpio has a new PI case to use her skills on, and she may be looking into Nathan's 7-year disappearance. There's some hard work ahead for Tracy, and I'm sure it's trying to reconcile with family, but you know, she's going to be stubborn. Marco catches Lucas Jones off guard, and he asks Lucas to move into Windermere with him, which of course is where Sidwell lives too. So, kind of an interesting proposition. Jack Brennan has a new mission for Jocelyn Jacks because he wants her to get close to Sidwell. To do that, Jack wants Jocelyn to stay very close to her Uncle Lucas, find out everything she can about Marco, about Sidwell, and if Lucas moves into Windermere, that'll be a lot easier for her to do. Friday, November 7th on General Hospital, we've got Sidwell very impressed with Ava Jerome. There's been a flirty vibe between them for a while. I think she's single as a Pringle at this point, and Sidwell may see Ava as being very useful to him, which is probably accurate. She may be around Windermere and Sidwell more if Lucas moves in. Carly has an update for Valentin, and I'm sure it's on their plan to take down Brennan. Carly is ready to get to plotting and discuss the next move they need to make to take this guy down. Laura Spencer's re-election campaign is threatened. Sidwell pushed her, and he may push it into the public eye, how close she is with Sonny to help her opponent Ezra Boyle. Jason gets together to confer with Sonny on Friday, and it may be about the Drew shooting and how to take the heat off Michael Corinthos and throw Portia under the bus. I do wonder if Sonny's going to tell Jason he met with Justine. I bet Jason warns him away from the Lady DA if Sonny brings it up. But he never listens. Charlotte Cassadine and Emma work on their strategy to get proof on Dalton. And of course, Rocco Falsaroni plans to steal the lab key fob from Britt Westbourne to help out. The week of November 10th through the 14th, we should have election results coming to Port Charles. I'm interested to see if Laura loses her campaign because of Sunny and Sidwell's posturing, or if she hangs on to her office. My vote is for Mayor Laura. Portia faces questions about her whereabouts during Drew's shooting, and she will be forced to share her alibi. Meanwhile, Jordan Ashford and Curtis Ashford get closer, and they may hit the sheets soon. Carly and Valentine are ready to make their next move to destroy Jack as Jocelyn gets closer to her boss doing more assignments. Marco presses Lucas to move into Windermere. It might feel too fast for Lucas, but Joss may encourage it because of her WSB job. Ava may offer Lucas a safety net and say, "You know, if it doesn't work out, you can always come back to my place." Michael and Jacinda Bracken take their fake romance out on a public date as an official couple. She still needs to return Nina Reeves's big old check. I bet it won't be too long until Michael and Jacinda are actually a real couple and getting intimate. Brooke Lynn Quartermain lays into Harrison Chase, and it may be about defending Willow Tate and insisting that she's innocent. Sidwell and Ava get flirtier, but of course, Sidwell's always working an agenda. I'm wondering when is Rick Lansing going to pop up now that he's free from the Jerome Davis coven. It's been a minute. Last time that we saw him, he was at the hospital getting treated for dehydration after being strapped to a gurney for 30 days and drugged. I'd like to see what he's up to. And you know, he's going to be after revenge. I wonder if Martin Gray's going to have to leave Port Charles since Laura kicked him out and he is broke, or if he's going to crash over at Drew's place since Willow's not going to be there. Alexis may be getting Willow out on bail soon, though. Dante Falconeri has a talk with Lulu Spencer, and it's probably about Rocco and the Faison family. Justine has another charged moment with Sunny. I do wonder if when Rocco and the kids get into the lab, whoever winds up going in, if they're shocked to find out that Britt has taken Dalton's place as the boss. That might end any curiosity Rocco has about as he calls her, his other mother. General Hospital's Tracy was at it again. Fans of General Hospital are acutely aware of how much Tracy's family means to her, and when an interloper threatens to come between them, she doesn't suffer fools gladly. What if that interloper is also the long-lost sister of Tracy's late sister-in-law Monica? Fireworks galore. The week began with Ronnie about to sign over the Quartermain mansion to the black sheep of the family, Drew. Martin was blackmailing Ronnie to sign over the house to Drew, or he would expose her role in deceiving the family about Monica's last wishes. In a revenge-inspired act, Martin, who has a high level of disdain for Tracy, forged Monica's will, which bequeathed the Quartermain mansion to Ronnie. Although she did not want to betray the family, whom she had grown close to, she also did not want to see the inside of the jail cell. Just when it looked like she would rather accept the consequences of her actions, Cody's dog, Outback, snatched the papers for the sale of the house right out from under Drew. Tracy's world turned upside down when she uncovered Monica's real will, tucked away with Alan's diplomas, and rushed over to the Q mansion. Handing the document to Michael, Tracy faced skepticism from Martin, who accused her of forging it. However, Tracy received the ultimate vindication when Ronnie confessed that Martin had forged the previous will to steal the Quartermain estate. Ronnie explained that Martin posed as Monica's friend to manipulate her into helping him, until guilt got the better of her. When she tried to pull out, Martin blackmailed her into staying quiet. Once the truth came out, Tracy demanded arrests all around, but Brooke Lynn convinced her to show mercy toward Ronnie, who'd ultimately done the right thing. In a twist worthy of the Quartermains, Michael revealed Monica's authentic will left the family mansion to Tracy, not him. The shock brought tears and reflection as Tracy realized Monica had trusted her to keep the family together. Meanwhile, Ronnie was left a touching gift, money to buy a home in her favorite Durham neighborhood, and Monica's locket. But forgiveness didn't come easy. Furious that her family sided with Ronnie, Tracy kicked them all out of the house Monica had left her. Gio visited Tracy, urging her to see that Monica's gift meant she was now the head of the Quartermain family. By the end, Tracy admitted she needed her family just as much as they needed her, a fitting reminder that in true Quartermain fashion, even chaos can lead to connection. Tracy took a major step toward mending fences on General Hospital when she invited Ronnie to the mansion for a long overdue talk. Surrounded by old photos, Tracy awkwardly tried to make amends, but her first apology fell flat, still full of blame and pride. Ronnie saw right through her half-hearted effort, refusing to accept it and calling her out for never taking responsibility for her actions. Ronnie reminded Tracy that while the rest of the Quartermaines had forgiven her, Tracy continued to judge and push people away. When Tracy claimed she'd only been protecting Monica's legacy, Ronnie fired back that all Monica ever wanted was for her family to love one another. During the heated exchange, Ronnie told Tracy to put a sock in it, which was what Monica always used to say. That broke Tracy, and she did the right thing. Meanwhile, the rest of the Quartermaine clan gathered at Bobby's diner to regroup. Ned, Olivia, Brooklyn, Michael, and Dante shared laughs over breakfast, but admitted they wouldn't return home until Tracy truly apologized. Gio, however, urged patience, hinting that his great-grandmother might surprise them, and she did. Later that morning, Ronnie revealed she'd received a real apology from Tracy, one straight from the heart. When the family rushed back to the mansion, Tracy stunned them again by welcoming everyone home. In an uncharacteristic show of warmth, she even accepted a group hug. Finally, Tracy confessed her regret for misjudging Ronnie and acknowledged Monica's lasting influence. Asking for forgiveness, she admitted that love, not stubbornness, was the true way to honor Monica's memory. In that emotional moment, the Quartermaine family finally found its way back together, hopefully living peacefully until the annual Quartermaine Thanksgiving turns into a pizza party. Tracy has never been shy about doing everything she can to protect her family, but Ronnie was part of the family through her sister Monica. It's one thing to outlaw Drew, who is reprehensible, but shouldn't Ronnie's mea culpa have been enough? Personally, I would have liked to see it play out longer, with Tracy having an epiphany right before Christmas or having the family rally around her after an accident. I would watch Jane Elliott read the phone book, so there were opportunities for it to be drawn out a little longer. Did you like the swift resolution? Would you have liked Ronnie to stick around? Peter Stormare delivered a comedic beat so distinct that viewers knew exactly who they were looking at before his name even trended. Peter Stormare popping up on General Hospital this week felt like one of those tiny daytime ruptures where reality bends just enough to make you blink. One second, Felicia's sorting paperwork. The next, she's dealing with that face. The half-mischievous, half-menacing energy that always makes you think something strange is about to happen. GH didn't advertise it. They just dropped a world-class character actor into Port Charles like a firecracker tossed under the nurse's station desk, and fans who know Stormare's filmography nearly choked on their coffee. The GH Instagram page teased it first, posting a behind-the-scenes photo with the caption, "It isn't every day that you get to work with @TheRealStormare. But what was he doing in Port Charles, and where was Stella Henry?" That was the breadcrumb. Then came the second post, the extended scene, and suddenly it all clicked. Stormare wasn't here for a long arc. He was here to promote Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, leaning into the chaos with the kind of deadpan precision only he can get away with. The video is unhinged in the best way. Felicia tries to process his insurance referral, and he calmly replies, "Stella's home today playing the new Call of Duty, Black Ops 7. As if this is the sort of thing HR just has to deal with. Then comes the diagnosis fiasco, onychocryptosis, he insists, followed by Felicia pointing out that it means an ingrown toenail. Stormare's character barely flinches. "They'll figure that out," he shrugs. By the time she shouts, "But we only just met! I love you!" After him, the whole thing plays like a hilarious comedy sketch. What makes this cameo more than a novelty is Stormare himself. This is a guy who carved his name into film history by saying almost nothing in Fargo, then turned around and became the Coen brothers' favorite agent of chaos. He's done prestige TV, cult TV, and enough video games to fill an entire Comic-Con panel by himself. On Prison Break, Stormare brought a cold intensity to mob boss John Abruzzi, playing him like a man who could switch from holy calm to lethal fury in a breath. Stormare has that rare quality that instantly tilts the room with his presence. Even when he's playing mild, like the soft-spoken oddball with Felicia. There's a crackle underneath it, a sense that something wonderfully unpredictable could spill out at any moment. GH tapped that energy perfectly. No over-explanation, no heavy plot tie-ins, just a weird little character beat that feels bigger because he's in it. And GH fans recognized him immediately. Not because of celebrity hype, but because he's that flavor of actor you feel before you fully place him. Plenty of shows try cross-promotion. GH lucked into casting someone who elevates it just by existing in the frame. Stormare didn't stay long. Blink, visit, gone. But sometimes an Easter egg is so well placed, you don't need a whole basket. Port Charles has seen villains, ghosts, vampires, and Helena Cassidy's entire scrapbook of curses. But a Coen Brothers alum popping in to misdiagnose an ingrown toenail? That might be the most surreal little treat they've delivered in years. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.